Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the F4 Championship of the Broken Wings Racing League here at Mount Panorama, or Bathurst, as some might say. We're about starting qualifying. It's about 15 minutes of qualifying, and then we're going to start this race. It's going to be an 18-lap race, and we'll get to that in a second. Probably just going to jump ahead here, try to find whoever is out on track first, and it looks like this Levi Akiro might be the driver ahead. We'll definitely take a look. And while we're on it, we're just going to focus on who's actually going to be able to survive this monstrosity of a track, going up the mountain, down it, into the hairpin, and right back onto the circuit in the straightaways. It's anyone's guess how these open wheelers are going to fare, and coincidentally, that's exactly how all not fare well at all is what we have just witnessed right there. But we will see more drivers on track, give it their go, and see what happens. We got Zachary Reardon in a McLaren. I mean, taking a tractor around Mount Ben. Oh, we're watching him, but the fates have showed us Levi DeKiro again. Let's take a look and see if this driver can't keep it on the grid. Now, all these drivers are on their out lap, but we shouldn't see any particular racy yet. Got a lot of drivers that are going to be trying to make their out lap count, get some rubber put into those tires, and, get to stepping. We'll take a look at this Zachary Reardon driver. He's one of the drivers that's out on his out lap, but he is already getting closer to the penultimate corner to start his hot lap. It looks like Ray Aguilar is the first driver to do so, so we're going to pop on board with him. This is lap 1 for Ray Aguilar, who's part of the Pro Series. The Pro Split, as we have it, if their name doesn't have a P next to it, then they are not part of the Pro Am classes. So Ray Aguilar, who has held many titles in Broken Wings Racing League, out there to see what he can do on track. We already know from practice that Trey Mistack, car number 599, was the fastest man on track during practice. It'd be interesting to see where Ray Aguilar stacks up. He was about 2 seconds. Maybe not 2 seconds. Maybe it was like a second and change slower, but it was just practice. Maybe he's just getting a feel for the car. Maybe it wasn't even on a quali setup. Who knows? Oh, whoa. There goes Craig Carroll off into the hairpin. Gonna be a tricky spot in the track. Carrying a lot of speed, you gotta slow down hard and then take that corner. Try not to spin the rear tires in the process. And if you do, you just go into the wall like that. It's unfortunate, but it is gonna be a common occurrence that we will see in this race. To the penultimate corner, Ray Aguilar goes. Let's see where he stacks up on track as the only driver. Yikes! And this commentator spoke too soon. That is not a time on the board for him. But Zachary Reardon is coming around the penultimate corner. And can he make something stick on the board? All you need is a banker lap. And that's really what counts here, folks. And he crosses the line. And he does not gain a time. He was off track on that one. Alejandro Pinto was P1, now is P3. Drops down just a bit, but he's one of the first drivers to set a time. Constable Cody Wassam in car number 188. P1 at the moment. Colin Luckhurst crosses the line. He goes second fastest with a 209.7. Ray Frias with a 210.4. That's quite the gap, folks. Quite the gap indeed. That's a full second that Ray's going to have to pull out if he wants to get into P1 again. Or even, get back to P2 where he was. But we'll take a look back here at Alejandro Pinto. Oh, as Steve McAllister crosses the line, he goes fourth fastest over Alejandro Pinto. And sometimes having a time lap on the board is better than no lap at all. Unlike Ray Aguilar, who definitely just missed it by going a little too fast in that penultimate corner. Sometimes just getting on the board is good enough. Joshua Abbott Salazar with the 209.4. Fastest overall. Car number 91. Trey Mistak crosses the line. He goes P5 with a 210.4. Definitely see the gap here, folks. It's only 1 second of a gap, but we're looking at the 209.4s to the 210.4s. A couple drivers right outside that margin of error, but not by much. Now that we have Ray Aguilar back on his hot lap, well, it says it's his out lap, so I guess it's not. We'll jump back on board with him in just a second. And Tyler Tier, another guy on his out lap. That's funny. Mika Hendricks. His last lap was... Ooh, that was the wall. Doing just fine. His last lap was a 2:08.9. But, that being said, it was his out lap. Or an off track might have occurred to get that in the first place. So, he's got to keep it within the lines in order to really maximize potential and get a good run out of this. He wants to be on the board. That's what needs to happen. Colin Luckhurst goes fastest with a 2:09.2. And what you're looking up there on the horizontal standings is not only their place on the qualifying, but also their last lap. That's what LL stands for. Jeff Kaufhold goes fourth fastest with a 210.1. Tyler Currents goes P7 with a 211.2. And we'll jump on board here, as this driver really needs to clear his visor. It's just a little dirty. They have tear-offs for a reason, folks, as he slips a little bit going in the penultimate corner, but can he keep it together? Is this a lap for him? I don't think so, folks. That's unfortunate. The suspense was building, but not enough. He went off track somewhere on that one. And we're going to go back to Ray Aguilar, who's now no longer on an out lap, but should be putting in a lap for the books. Can he go faster? Joshua Abbott Salazar goes fastest with a 2:09.1. It's a very fine margin of error for him on Colin Luckhurst. Just 0.3 of a difference between these two drivers. Ah, sorry, not even 0.3. 1/10 difference. I was looking at that incompletely. Take a look here. Joshua Abbott Salazar did a 2:09.196. And that was a 2:09.288. Margin of error is small if you want to get into the top spot there for these two drivers. And even Cody Wassum and Ray Frias goes faster, taking P4 with a 2:10 even. And this is a moment for Ray Aguilar as he takes that just perfectly, crosses the line, and goes P9 with a 2:11.3. A banker lap is better than no lap at all, as we got Levi DeKiro going P6 with a 2:10.3. Tyler Currents overtakes Steve McAllister with a P8 spot for himself. And taking a look on board with somebody who's doing a little bit better. Is that Tyler? Tyler Tier went 7th. I'm not sure if that was different. We got Andrew Pickrell crosses the line with a 2:12.4. And Mika Hendricks finally puts it on the board. Goes fastest overall. Wherever he had his slip up, he corrected. That's a 2:08.5 out of this driver. He's going faster than any other driver on the grid by a huge margin. That's 0.6 difference from him to P2. Christopher Byrne crosses the line, and he goes 2:09.1. That's 5 tenths now. 5 tenths. 5 tenths difference between. So half a second. He's leading by half a second, though, in qualifying. It means that with only 4 minutes left to go, somebody, if anybody, could take that top step from him at any point. So what he needs to do is continue pushing. We have only 2 drivers that haven't put a time on the board. And there we go. Zachary Reardon in the McLaren tractor, taking it across the board. And that is a P15 out of him. As Trey Mistack overtakes Christopher Burns for P2. And that is a 2:08.6. Holy! They're only separated by not 100th, but 1,000th of a second now between Trey Mistack and Mika Hendricks. This is going to be an interesting battle, folks, once we get to it, as the qualifying is only ramping up. Ray Aguilar crosses the line and goes fastest with the 2:08.4. Overtaking Mika Hendricks. Leva DeKiro goes 7th over Cody Wassum. And Tyler Currents overtakes Tyler Tier in the Battle of the Tylers for P11. And Tyler Tier is P12. But can he shake it up? Tyler Tier goes second fastest with a 2:08.5. Barely separating Ray Aguilar from Tyler Tier with a 1.142 gap. That is something else. And Mika Hendricks crosses the line. Once again, taking P1 with a 2:08.2. Well, we got Ray Aguilar. He's 0.6 faster right now on this lap, which means he's going to overtake Mika Hendricks if he maintains his pace. Still up for grabs, P1 is. Provisional pole is definitely provisional, as Mika Hendricks is going to have to pull in a little bit faster of a time, because we have Ray Aguilar going almost 0.8 faster now on this lap. And it's a wonder what this driver is actually doing. Let's go on a cockpit view and see how he's actually taking these corners. He's 0.9 faster at this moment in time. We have Trey Mistack 1.4 seconds faster on his last lap. And that's putting Trey Mistack, who's already P4, into a spot to be provisional pole. But Ray Aguilar can definitely make that a little bit harder for him. Zachary Reardon goes 10th fastest with a 2:09.6. The track is heating up, folks, and these drivers are getting more sticky to the ground. Trey Mistack takes that 1.4, goes across the line, takes P1 with a 2:08 even. Ray Aguilar has 0.9 seconds ready to go. He just needs to nail the penultimate corner and really take it home. He's going to get a 2:07 out of this. There's no doubt about it. As Ray Aguilar is sitting P3 right now, crossing the line. Oh, he does not improve. And that is not with a lack of trying. His 0.9 difference was overshadowed by an off track, I'm almost certain of, because it was ripped away in the penultimate corner. That is unfortunate. Still sits P3, Mika Hendricks P2. And we got Joshua Abbott Salazar about to cross the line. He is 1.4 seconds faster right now. Can he go anywhere above P6? Yes, he can. P5 for him with 1 lap to go. And while we're talking right back at it, Ray Aguilar, 0.8 faster. Where is this driver going off? What's happening here? Oh, wow. Trey Mistack is coming down the straight. And he's almost a full second faster right now. Ray Aguilar is coming right down behind him. But Trey Mistak has a full second faster off his last time, holding P1 provisionally, setting a new lap with a fast 1.2 seconds faster. Ray Aguilar is right behind him, 1.2 seconds. If this is going to happen, this could set him vastly apart from the other driver. That's a 207.9 out of Trey Mistak as Ray Aguilar is about to go towards the penultimate corner. A 207.9, folks. Ray Frias overtakes Zachary Reardon in the pits. That's a P10 for Ray Frias. Ray Aguilar going through the final corners. Is he going to be able to pick P1 back? He doesn't. He goes second fastest. Separated by 0.073 seconds. Man, that is small margin of error. And here we got Mika Hendricks. He's 0.4 faster right now. Tyler Tier's behind him with 0.5 faster. Actually, no. Tyler Tier goes into the pits. And Mika Hendricks going for the jump. And he nails it! Perfectly! If anyone deserves this win, it is this man right here for doing what is the impossible. Making that stick on the landing. You never really see it. And that is why he's going to go into this pumped up as all can be. We're about to start this race, folks. And that was qualifying. Too late there, Josh. It's too late. Did he stick it? Let's actually just go back. I don't even have to worry about that. Ooh. He got close. Andrew Pickrell got close, but we did see a beautiful crescendo from Mika Hendricks, who's sitting P3. What the? And just bear with me, folks. Waiting for this qualifying to end and the race to begin. Looks to be a standing start here. I mean, I think he does. With the driver grid being Trey Mistak, Ray Aguilar, Mika Hendricks, Tyler Tier, Joshua Abbott Salazar, P6 is Christopher Burns, Colin Luckers is P7. Oop, this is start. We're a go, folks. We're a go. Into the chopper cam we go. What will we see out of these drivers? So far, it's clean, clean, clean. As Trey Mistak keeps P1, Ray Aguilar P2. We're going side by side. And there goes Ray Aguilar into P1 off of Trey Mistak in the first corner. And Mika Hendricks in P3 just shortly behind. Tyler Tier, Joshua Abbott, Salazar just behind. Whoa, folks. So far, it is clean, and everybody has not hit the wall. Something I would not have thought this commentator would have said earlier today when I was looking at practice, but it looks like we are all clean in green. As the green flag has waved, and we are on to something magical. Tyler Tier and Joshua Abbott Salazar looks to be teammates. A little purple livery there, and they're going to be holding back Christopher Burns, who's really going to be pushing. Colin Luckhurst just behind in P7 with Levi DeKeyrol, followed by Cody Wassam. Cody Wassam in that teal. Oh, and there you have it, folks. It didn't take long, but there goes Ray Frias and somebody else. Oh, no. Is that the tractor? That was not the McLaren. That is unfortunate. We have a crash out of a few of those drivers. And it did not take long. Whoa! And Josh Abbott loses his front end as he gets spun around. And that is going to be a quick hop to the pits he goes. And a little bit of lag at it. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Oh my, that was a dodge out of Andrew Pickrell and Craig Carroll, who just narrowly avoided that driver who went sideways on the track. And that is position for many of the drivers on track. Mika Hendricks still P4. Oh, dropped down from P3 to P4 from Tyler Tier. But we know he has the pace. And that is getting real close, folks. We're only on the second lap here at Mount Panorama. And Mika Hendricks is really putting the pressure on Tyler Tier. Actually lets him go a little bit. I would say he could have been a little bit more aggressive going into the corkscrew there. But survivability is half the battle here in these open wheelers in the F4. If only somebody could get on the team radio and tell him to pull that tear off, because this is not good content. And Ray Aguilar and Trey Mistak looks to be swapping for positions here, but not by much. We got Constable Cody Wassam in P5. Looks to be improving already from the start line. And we have many other drivers improving as Andrew Pickrell goes into the pit lane. That's unfortunate there. Craig Carroll coming up on Nick Peterson, P8, overtakes him for P8 and P9. That's pretty calculated. Nothing but clinical out of that. And a couple more drivers overtaking Andrew Pickrell in the pit lane as follows. But we'll get back onto something that's happening here. Is Levi DeKeyrol is really putting the pressure here on Cody Wassam for P6 and P5 battling it out. And this could be a survivability factor here. Getting too close to a driver in the downhill section might be problematic, as we saw as that driver just locked up behind. It is not easy to follow, and, you know, damage did occur from what we noticed. Looks like Tyler Tier has the fastest lap overall right now in the session. And Levi DeKiro going for a move. I don't know if he had it, and it doesn't look like he does because he is out. Spun around. And there goes Cody Wassum maintaining his composure and his front wing, which looked to be a little dicey in that motion. But he is gone through and maintained position. And Levi DeKiro goes down to P7. And we'll see if we can see him in the rear view mirror there, folks. But that would have been a difficult one to turn around and get back on track. And it doesn't look like we do see him right there in the outright. All we have right behind is, oh, Levi DeKiro goes to P11 as he has just dropped down even further. But he might actually be in the pit lane getting his car fixed. And that might be the actual reason why he's, we're not seeing him in the background there. The unfortunate thing here is Joshua Abbott Salazar was running the top, 5, but, issues occurred on track, and, he's back here fighting for a position against a Haas. Not a bad thing. Nick Peterson looks to be a very formidable driver. He's maintained his own. He's actually... I don't think I even saw him qualify, but Nick Peterson is in this race. Whoa. And they are going side by side, and that looks to be someone off track, and that is, I believe, Craig Carroll. Nick Peterson still maintaining that offensive line, but Joshua Salazar has the next run into turn 1. And that's going to be a sweet overtake for him, but Colin Luckhurst just behind. Can he make an overtake on that Haas as well? And unable to defend against it, Colin Luckhurst is going to take that inside line and overtake Nick Peterson into turn 2. And out of the top 4, we have an exciting battle finally forming back up again, as Ray Aguilar and Trey Mistak are battling it out for P1, and Mika Hendricks just behind, ready to take any position so these guys fault out here. And the gap has closed between the top three as Tyler Tier looks to reel them in just a little bit further. He just did a 208.3 on the last lap. Mika Hendricks did a 207.8. Ray Aguilar did a 209. Trey Mistack a 208.3. If I had to guess, folks, I would say that our Lego man here is going to find himself in a position to overtake both of them. He's got the pace, he's got the speed, he just needs the opening. And Tyler Tier's still unable to reel in that gap. We went from a 1.8 to 202. But I'm sure he will try to make that back up. Tyler Tier did a 283. That's just on par with what Trey Mistack did on the last lap. But not the case for Mika Hendricks behind him. Just in front of Tyler Tier. And look at that. So Mika Hendricks is going to make this a 2-wide scenario. Is he going to overtake Ray Aguilar on the outside? With cuts back? No, he does not. Ray Aguilar goes a little deep and able to defend against it. Oh! And there goes Ray Aguilar, who spins it into the penultimate corner, just like in qualifying. He's going to have to defend against Tyler Tier now. And there goes Mika Hendricks without having to battle him. Overtakes him with a simple mistake. Such a costly mistake. And there goes Ray Aguilar into P3. And Mika Hendricks able to now put the fight onto Trey Mistack, who just, pulled ahead by a huge margin because of that. His tires might be slightly hot from that little gust of wind that hit the back end, but he's back in it. Well, the gap has kind of gotten a little bit bigger for Trey Mistack by going 2.4 seconds, 2.2 seconds ahead of Mika Hendricks and ahead of two drivers that are in the pits as well. Yeah, with that gap forming, Tyler Tier was able to reel back in, P4. But is Ray Aguilar going to try to make a move on Mika Hendricks? Doesn't look like Mika Hendricks has actually been able to reel in Trey Mistack. His last lap was a 209. And Trey Mistack's was a 208.6. Tyler Tier did a 208.8. anyone's guess is what's going to happen next with these drivers. But hopefully not a costly mistake out of any of them that sends them into the pits. Dropping back down, we see Cody Wassum's just a few seconds, actually 9.8, almost 10 seconds behind Tyler Tier here, but he's holding P5. Christopher Burns right behind Cody Wassum, 2-second gap between the two. Colin Luckhurst is about 17 seconds back. And then we got Nick Peterson in P8, Craig Carroll in P9, Steve McAllister in P10, going up the hill right now, or the mountain. Andrew Pickrell's right behind Steve McAllister, holding P11. Joshua Abbott Salazar just behind in P12. And we have Ray Currents right behind him in P13. Anything could happen with these two drivers. Whoa, as Andrew Pickrell just skates by on that guardrail there. A lot of lockup out of the left rear there. And up the mountain they go into turn 2. Ray Aguilar overtakes Mika Hendricks for P2. And they are no closer to Tyler Currents here. And oddly enough, with that move, Mika Hendricks and Ray Aguilar are now back at, pace with each other, but Tyler Tier losing out just slightly to that. But it's coming right back around. Just slow corners for him, but reeling him back in. A little different than what I thought we were seeing. But we're going to see some lap traffic here and see if that doesn't change things up, shakes it up a little bit. As we have Ray Aguilar, Mika Hendricks, and Tyler Tier all battling it out from P2 to P4 with Ray Frias and Colin Luckhurst in front of them. We're about the halfway point, so we could be seeing people jump into the pit lane to serve their mandatory pit stop for that fuel. And if I was one of these three drivers, I would go for the direct undercut, not only to Tyler Misstack in P1, but maybe there's a driver right next to you. I think Mika Hendricks could benefit right now from just jumping into the pit lane, finding a spot where he has clean air and just pushing that way. What he has ahead of him isn't that great. Colin Luckhurst back out on track. He was P10, now he's P13. And we have Nick Peterson, who has actually done his full outlap. So he went halfway mark, grabbed some fuel, and he's back out there. He is P8, but he's actually going to gain some positions here. Andrew Pickrell, he's on a stint of 7 laps, which means he could also be trying to make something happen on an undercut. It's possible. As we go on board with Tyler Tier, another driver who has fail to understand that you can peel off that visor. And that little sound that's coming from the underbelly there is actually him bottoming out. I don't think any of the drivers have adjusted the ride height for the straightaways here. But it's not about the straightaways that matter. It's those corners. Bottoming out in a corner would be really bad, but bottoming out in a straight, not so much. And they are allowing that tolerance to be just that. And there he goes. We have Mika Hendricks into the pit lane. He's the first to do so. And Tyler Tier's going to go ahead and see what he can make out of this. Mika Hendricks, however, just take a good look and see how long it takes this driver to go around. We have Trey Mistak, who's going in, he's in the first straight, going into turn 2. Mika Hendricks is about to put himself into the pit lane, into his little spot here. You see there's at least 4 drivers that are in the pits, probably licking their wounds, trying to get some repairs done. But look at that, in and out, splash and dash he goes. He went from P4 down to P6. That is a gap of 25.8 seconds to P1. That is well within the tolerance to overtake him from the pit lane. We give or take, it takes about 23 seconds to go in and out of the pit stop itself, plus your 1 to 2 second margin on fuel. We could see a very big shakeup coming out of Mika Hendricks, who now has just a clear track ahead of him. Just in front of him is Christopher Burns with an 8.2 second lead to him, and behind him is Craig Carroll with a 14.5. So he has nothing to think about on track but just speed, momentum, and keeping it clean. Hey, he doesn't even have to keep it clean. He just got to keep it on track. And out of the walls. But we'll know shortly whether or not that was the move to make. Sitting there battling Ray Aguilar and Tyler Tier. We have Trey Mistak in P1. Can he hold P1? Right now, looking at the timing screens here, we have Mika Hendricks a full 26.3 seconds back, which was roughly probably where he was when the 2.1 second back when he was still in P2. It doesn't look good for him just yet, but if he can improve upon his time, Trey Mistak just did a 208 even. Mika Hendricks needs to curb a whole 1.7 seconds out of his times to really make that happen. And Cody Wassum into the pit lane he goes. Christopher Byrne overtakes him for that position. Mika Hendricks is about to cross the line. He's going to go right back into P5, dropping back down. Christopher Burns overtakes Tyler Tier. It looks like Tyler Tier's also in the pit lane. Mika Hendricks is about to overtake Tyler Tier. Is it going to happen? Who's going to come out on top? He's got more speed down the straight line. And that is a gap, but what are we looking at? Ants? And there goes Mika Hendricks with a 3/10 gap to Tyler Tier. The undercut worked against him, but he was already slightly ahead of him by 3/10. What he really needs to do is see if this works against Ray Aguilar, who was ahead of him. Now he's got to worry about being defensive against a driver that's right behind him, but still kind of push a little bit more. Ray Aguilar doesn't have to worry about that at all. He's only focused on Trey Mistak, who's 3.5 seconds ahead of him. That 3.5 seconds is a huge margin to somehow get that in the pit stop itself. I don't think it's going to happen. He's going to have to not only push on his out lap, but also push on his in lap. And Trey Mistak, with no mistakes, still leading this race on a stint of 12 laps. He looks to go into the pit lane, and he doesn't. He stays out. Ray Aguilar stays out. Christopher Burns from P5 to P3. He's on a stint. He's one of the few drivers left in this race that has not gone into pit lane. Christopher Burns is on 12 lap. Old tires. and he stays out. This is going to be an interesting tactic for the overcut. I don't think it's going to work out as well as people think it is, but that's their gamble, and they're sticking to it. Oh no! Oh no! What happened there? Just lost the rear, and it doesn't look like there's too much damage. Oh, there's enough damage. He's in the pit lane. We lost a contender in this title fight, folks. That is unfortunate. He really did nail the jump, and that is something else entirely. Andrew Pickrell coming out of the pit lane overtakes Mika Hendricks for P8, as Colin Luckhurst as well. That is unfortunate. And there you have it, folks. We have Trey Mistak, Ray Aguilar, and Christopher Burns. Trey Mistak and Ray Aguilar went into the pit lane, so Ray Aguilar followed Trey into the pits, and Christopher Burns looks to have continued pushing through. He might be P1 at this moment in time. Unsure. Won't see that in the timing board just yet. Tyler Tier goes third, P3, P2. And that is a shakeup of shakeups. Tyler Tier's undercut worked against Ray Aguilar, who's now 8/10 back. And Nick Peterson, Craig Curl going at it again, battling it out. Who's going to be on top here? Is it the Haas or the Lavazza? And it looks like Nick Peterson's going to take P7 into the penultimate corner. Keeps it straight. Greg Carroll going to the inside. Psych. And another battle on our hands. As Craig Carroll goes for it again. Oh, Craig dives right back in, takes the line. Does not make the move just yet. And Trey Mistak made no mistakes. It looks like he's going to probably keep the lead as we have 4 laps to go. 5 laps. And still holding P1. Only lost it provisionally for just a few seconds. Now is the move on right here? It is not. Andrew Pickrell's out of this race. Mika Hendricks is back on it. That looks like Colin Luckhurst is against the wall. Doesn't look good for him. He's out. Ray Aguilar right back at it, going on the attack, but he can't make anything happen going up in the mountain. He's going to have to really wait until he gets onto one of those straights again. Possibly into the final corner. Oh, that's unfortunate. Joshua, that really is. That's. I did notice that there was one person that had a lag spike. It didn't look like the major crash happened until that hairpin towards the end. It was a really rough hairpin. Ray Freese was involved in that, and Jeff Kaufhold as well, I think. His damage has really hit a lot of these drivers. And that is Colin Luckhurst into the pit lane after suffering a fatal blow to the front wing going up the mountain. Trey Mistak just ahead, as you can see. Really keeping his steady 4-second lead. That's really unfortunate, Joshua. It looked like you held it together for some time because you and Tyler Tier were just holding it together in P4 and 5, I think it was at the time. And then it just kind of all slipped away at some point. Ooh, and you can even hear the ride height of this car. Why am I tuned correctly? Because into the corners, you don't want to have that scrubbing. That's not great. The ride height, he's hitting that. He's bottoming out in the corners, which isn't ideal. On the straights, it's not so bad, but in the corners, definitely gonna cost you. I've heard a few drivers be able to get by on adjusting the ride height and only bottoming out on the actual straights itself. Doesn't seem like that is the case, as Ray Aguilar is now 5/10 or back from Tyler Tier. 4, but he's reeling him in on not so much. That's really just the draft there. Now he's 3/10. Try to maintain carrying that speed. Might be a better corner for him because he actually did maintain that. Oh, and Christopher Burns and Cody Wasson are battling out. P4. Christopher Burns is able to make that overtake stick. It's unfortunate. You and Steve had a little bit of a kerfluffle, as they say. A racing incident, maybe. Who knows? It's for the stewards to decide. And Cody Wasson really taking the battle to Christopher Burns in car number 99. And we have seen that happen. Following a little too close might result in a little bit of murder. And what we're witnessing right now is Cody Wasson falling a little too close. Maybe he knows how to handle this. We don't know until we see the shakeup occur. They are neck and neck, separated by 1/10 difference. Any wrong move from Christopher Burns, and Cody has to react to it. Maybe he slams right into him, maybe slams into a wall, but it is a tricky, tricky thing that is happening in front of us. And it's anybody's guess as how that shakes up in the straight. He's going to be in the draft. He's only down by 3/10. As long as he had a great exit coming out into this corner, he's going to be able to pull the same move Christopher Burns pulled on him. But is it enough? He doesn't make the move happen there. Lets Christopher Burns think it maybe. But not just yet, as we have only 2 laps remaining here, folks, before this finally ends. The bloodbath at Bathurst, as it is. And that might be the white flag. And if he can't make it happen into turn 2, we'll definitely have to come back to him, as we have other battles shaping up on track. He's going down the inside line. Does he have it? Is he going to be able to stick it? Cody Wassum takes it, and Christopher Burns spins out. Oh no! And down goes his back wing. Oh, you hate to see it, folks. And Tyler Tears still ahead of Ray Aguilar. Going down the corkscrew they go. And what a fantastic finish for Cody Wassum if he's able to maintain this on track. And Trey Mistak well ahead with a 2.4 second gap there. Maybe not so well ahead, but he's maintained it this entire race. Ray Aguilar, who did have a slight spin, dropped down a couple positions, but now back to P3. And not close enough to Tyler Tier to make something happen here going to the final corner. Can't even see if that's the flag. That is the flag. That is Trey Mistak in P1, Tyler Tier in P2, Ray Aguilar in P3, and Cody Wassum with that fantastic overtake into turn 2 takes home P4 with just a couple more, or just one more corner to go in the penultimate corner as it is. There he rides into the sunset, and that is P4 for him. And Nick Peterson jumps ahead here over Christopher Burns, who's just now popped it back on track, and maybe that rear wing just snapped back into place for him. Who knows? He's definitely probably have damage. But Nick Peterson just going to show you that just keeping it consistent can get you P5. And Christopher Burns P6, Craig Carroll in P7. If that's someone's wing in the background there. And Mika Hendricks in P8, Kyler Luckhurst in P9, Andrew Pickrell in P10, Josh Rabbitsalzar in P11, Tyler Kearns in P12, Steve McAllister in P13, Alejandro Pinto in P14, Levi DeKiro in P15, Ray Freese in 16, Zachary Reardon in P17, and Jeff Koffold in 18. Thank you for following us and watching us and enjoying this. We're going to be back again at the GT3 race for round 6 or 7. I already forgot. But we'll be back this coming Sunday at 9:15 Eastern Standard Time. Or 9:10 Eastern Standard Time for qualifying. That's when it starts. And then back again for Monza next week. Same time for this at 9:05 Eastern Standard Time on Tuesday. So join us again. Or also join the Discord. Thanks.